Alrighty. Well, looks like we're going to kick off this Super C race here, which is going to be awesome. I'm Angry Lanks, by the way, and I'm joined by B-Boy Venom here for commentary. We're going to have TFX going up against Jeremy, and they're going to do what is referred to as a glitchless run in this game. There are a couple of frame-perfect glitches that save a lot of time, but we're going to be foregoing those in this run just for the sake of making it a more fun race. But yeah, if you two are ready, I can go ahead and give you a countdown.
All right.
So
Yeah, for
here we
sure.
go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. I'm good. Alright.
So the difference between Super C and the first Contra is that there's actually like a discrepancy in what weapons are more powerful. So you're actually going to notice both of them trying to get the fire weapon in this game because it's really kind of on point. It's kind of a broken weapon. It has these fireball shrapnels that sort of come out, so to speak, and they do like tons of extra damage. So in the first Contra, most people think like spread's definitely the weapon, which is definitely the case. But they kind of nerfed spread in this game. It's not as powerful as a fire gun, so they're gonna grab that. But as you watch them here and they're going up these ramps, they're jumping at certain times to create a safe passageway to get under these grenades because they will kill them otherwise. And you'll notice their TFX had to hesitate because she didn't quite get the jumps right. So it's pretty tricky. But there, Jeremy got under some, which is it's pretty tight. So
Yeah, the fire weapon, you could power it up by holding the shoot button, and then when you let it go, it shoots a charged shot, doing even more damage than a regular fire shot.
yeah, and you'll see them taking down this helicopter. They have to take out the turrets first, and after they do that, this little glowing core appears kind of in the middle of it, and they just get underneath it and mash it down with that fire gun. And like B-Boy was saying with that charged up shot, they initially shoot that into it to get more damage and then just kind of mash from there. Area 2, we get this top-down perspective, which in the first Contra, it's like a from-behind perspective. So this is kind of the switch up in this game. And I think most people prefer this top-down kind of thing casually over the old base stages in Contra 1. But they're still going to try to hold on to the fire weapon through here, I would imagine, and take it to the boss. Something about Super C is incredibly trolly game. One of the more trolly speedruns I've ever done, in fact. These guys on the screen, they just kind of show up whenever they want to. You don't really get to know when it's going to happen. You just have to react. So making it through this stage without dying is a feat in itself. So hopefully they can both get through here, keep their fire weapon, and just take down the boss real fast. It's also good to try to move in as many straight lines as possible because the more you wiggle, the more time you lose. So they're always trying to make sure they can just keep in a nice straight line if they can manage it. But the guy showing up really messed it up. So it looks like Jeremy's taking on the boss and TFX is going in. So let's see how this goes. She took a different approach and went for the front kill.
Yeah, Jeremy went for the side.
Side kill's a little safer, probably for a race or marathon overall. You risk getting killed from the front, but front is faster. So appreciate TFX going for the hard strats. Jungle in this game is full of enemies. It's one of those stages where once you've played it enough, you get pretty good at mitigating the trolls. But when you're learning this game, it feels like a train wreck because there's just so much going on the screen and there's so much you have to keep track of. As you see, they're coming up on this crazy like mortar, this raining bullets from the sky, and it just it's nuts. It's a lot of chaos, and they're gonna traverse this water area, and it's pretty tricky and treacherous. And they're gonna come up on a mini boss that's actually called Babalu. I think that's actually his name in the U.S. instruction manual, which I don't know why. But we'll see an interesting screen scrolling trick coming up once they get there. It'll be cool. And you can see it's just kind of like a bullet hell. It's just trying to survive. Guys flying out of the trees. It's insane.
Yeah, the area and section which they are right now in, there's lag caused by just too many sprites on the screen. So if you see them shoot back, they're just trying to reduce the lag.
You see how they can position themselves underneath Babalu and just like hug the right side of the screen, and then they can just stay at the front, and they can completely avoid all these pit hazards. It's actually like the most relaxing part of this speed run. You can finally take a breath for a little while before you go into the next stage. You do have a boss fight though right after this, but it's not too bad of a boss fight. So, but yeah, it just completely trivializes this whole section. You can see Jeremy got his fire back there. He did take a death earlier, but he's able to get back in the run here. So let's see how they do on this boss kill. Nice kill by TFX. Jeremy's doing the same strat. Nice close race here. So, all right, now we're going into stage 4, and this is very much a speedrunner's gatekeeper stage. These bubbles come out of the ceiling, and unfortunately, there's just no good way to mitigate them. You just kind of have to hope they don't kill you. So we'll see how they both approach this. TFX got through the first set.
This is the second heaviest RNG in the game. The first I will commentate on as well when we get there, but even for it being the second most relevant RNG stage, it's heck. It is the gatekeeper, like Blank said.
And unfortunately, TFX did get through the bubbles, but then took a death afterwards, which is too bad because ideally you want to keep the flame, not just because it's powerful, but because there's also an opportunity to get glitches on this stage. But this is a glitchless run, so they wouldn't be doing that anyway. So, but they would still want to keep that F gun. But they can, since they've both taken deaths, what they're going to do, this level's an auto-scroller, so it's a bit slow-paced, but there's an S gun up higher up, which they'll need for the boss fight, and so they'll both be able to switch to that so they can mash down this boss. But in the meantime, it's kind of just a slow scroll to the top. You got turrets to avoid, you've got these orange-colored angel-looking dudes that are flying down at you, and yeah, there's just going to be a lot of mitigating by shooting in certain directions at certain times. And once they get up high enough and kill a few turrets, they'll get the S, like I said. And then there's more bubbles in the mix. This game loves throwing bubbles at you. And interestingly enough, this is the 4th stage in this game, obviously. And stage 4 in Contra 1 is the base stage. And all the enemies in this level exist within the boss fight of Contra 1. So I think they did that on purpose with that stage 4 correlation. Just speculation on my part.
I'd say you're right.
So yeah, up this last stretch is going to be more bubbles and a lot more of these angel-type characters, these orange Power Rangers with wings. And they're coming up to a boss fight that people cleverly call the laser chandelier or the shower head. It's pretty much what it looks like. It's just a big shower head that shoots lasers at you. So usually you have to position yourself a certain way and mash and start jumping and making your way left. So we'll see what kind of strategies they both take on this boss fight, but it takes a lot of mashing. It's not very easy. I know TFX has developed her own kind of mash where she wiggles her finger back and forth over the button to get a faster mash going. And you can see she's taking those laser heads out pretty quick.
And I just wanted to say, with the weapons here in Super C, it's a little different than Contra. Like, they'll want to pick up the R, which is the rapid, for whichever weapon they have. But as soon as they pick up the R again, it will negate the original rapid fire.
Yeah, and that's something you don't have to worry about at all in the first Contra. It's weird how that differentiates, because you can just stack R's all you want and grab the same weapon and it doesn't affect the weapon value, but in this game it does, like B-Boy said. So here stage 5 is kind of like the waterfall stage. It's vertical ascension, you're going up, so no waterfall in the background, but it's got this cool little like neon cloud things going on. Definitely a cool looking stage. A lot shorter than waterfall in the jumps, so it's not too bad. There is a screen clear that's really key in getting through it easy. Uh-oh, Jeremy took a death. TFX still going strong, coming towards the boss here. We get this little conga line of trolls behind you, which happens a lot in this game, but it gets really strong on this stage. And you'll notice the screen lagging because of it, and she's trying to shoot them to get rid of them.
And then the raisins that Jeremy was avoiding, I like to call them raisins, but they were boulders, these purple ones. They have the biggest hitbox in the game, so getting hit by one of those is not uncommon.
And the boss fight here, actually, you'll notice TFX stood over to the right, and it seemed kind of odd. It was like, well, the boss is there, why aren't you shooting it? Well, it's because its hitbox doesn't light up until a certain point on the screen. So they actually position themselves over to the right and wait for it to come in and time your jumps, and it'll go down super quick. And this is the stage B-Boy was talking about, if you want to talk about the RNG factor now, B-Boy.
Oh, yes. So the heaviest RNG in the game is in Area 6, which Typical is on right now, and it's with these mouths that appear on the ground. So this is a Franker Z moment, like clutch, cross your fingers, because the mouth can just appear at any given time, and she made it through, so amazing for her.
Wow, and she dodged that crab in between those spikes. That was really clutch right there, too. This part's easy, though. Once you do get through that area, if you're lucky enough to survive it, you just stay in like a straight line as much as possible and just kind of wait and shoot at the right times. It's not too bad. And then this boss, you just get right up in his face and you just mash it down. It's super free, because if you're close, the bullets just can't touch you. And so she's going to do the same thing here with this second form that comes out. She's just going to get to the left of it. Some people go to the right. There's different approaches. Either way, it doesn't matter. Jeremy's having some trouble. I think he got worked over a little, unfortunately. He's in a mess of spikes. It doesn't look fun. And this is not a very friendly marathon game, by the way. It's real easy to die. So he's going to have to go back to the start of stage 6. But hopefully this time he can get back to the spikes and get the S gun and then go into stage 7. But now TFX is going in area 7. This stage requires a lot of mashing. If you're not a very strong masher, you're going to have a hard time with this level. You'll notice she did grab the R right there at the start, which helps get through these kind of barfing, crazy-looking creatures. I don't know what to call them. They're pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the fact that the spread weapon has been downgraded was mentioned, but yes, the spread was downgraded in Super C because they thought it was just way too powerful, and you could just tell by the shots. Whenever TFX is shooting, it'll just be like random. It's not like a straight line or straight 5 lines. It's just like very, very awkwardly placed shots.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different weapon in this game. It's still pretty powerful if you can mash fast, but yeah, it's just not the same. They definitely nerfed it, like Ko1 was saying there in chat. Switch the weapon rolls, which is kind of fun. Mixes it up. But yeah, TFX got to this stage nicely. Not too many hiccups. Didn't take a death or anything. This boss fight, you just position yourself on a certain pixel to optimize the bullets entering the mouth. So you want 2 streams of bullets to connect. And your jump timing kind of clusters the bullets in better ways to take it down fast. You see she did a pretty good job there. Got a nice little 3 cycle on it. So she'll be heading into the last area. It looks like Jeremy's fending off the area 6 boss now, so that's good. He's going into stage 7. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the S, so I don't know what he'll do at the start. Maybe just grab the R and go from there. So he's going to have to do some more hesitating, which is a little rough. Area 8's pretty much like an homage to the first game's Area 8. It's like an Aliens lair type situation. Similar enemy sets. You got the guys running around on the ground, which didn't exist in the first Contra, but those mouths that shoot the spores did. But they added in some new enemies. There's these turret type guys that spit at you. It's pretty treacherous casually, but actually this stage isn't so bad in a speedrun. As long as you just kind of pay attention to the troll mitigation, it's pretty manageable. Alright, so yeah, you can see he's not going to have very much fun going through this stage without the spread gun here. He's having to use pea shooter on those mouths, and it takes forever to kill him, and the guys are coming out from behind him and just showing up, so it's not fun. But he'll get through it for sure. Hopefully he can get this S down here after he makes the dissension. You'll notice TFX running through this ceiling crush area, and you'll see that she can actually jump and hit the top of the ceiling and still move, and that gives her time to actually shoot down at the same time and use the kind of shrapnel from the fire weapon to kill the enemies that are running.
Does she go for the jump? Does she go for the jump? She hesitated a little bit. So there's if you do the glitchless run and you let the wall come down, there's a certain jump. I believe it's pixel perfect. Like you have to have the right pixel and be 100% to make this jump, and she didn't go for it, but it would have been really fun to see.
Would have been swaggy.
Oh man, yeah, that's right.
All right, so she's at the last stage, and unfortunately, Jeremy took a game over, so he's got to go back through Area 7. Like I said, it's not fun without that S gun. You'll notice she just climbs up on the boss and just mashes it down right in the face. FX.
GG.
Nice, easy run. So that's time right there for TFX. Looked like about a 13:58 or so if her time started around the same time as Jeremy's. So that's a solid run. Sub 14 and a marathon's really good. And Jeremy's going to go back through this dissension section here where he has to shoot through all the eggs, and that doesn't take as long with the spread gun as it does with just having this pea shooter. So it's going to be a little slow for him. Oh, go ahead.
It's the part where this part right here is where the mashing is. So if you think like, oh yeah, well, I want to pick up Super C, but I don't again because it's heavy on mashing. It's not completely true. There isn't a lot of mashing involved in this game, but that specific section and area where you shoot down through the dead cells, the green dead cells, that's where I believe like if you have a really strong mash, you'll save a lot of like maybe even up to 2 seconds depending.
Yeah, that's definitely true. You can save a ton of time in that section with a fast mash, especially if your jump timing's good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it looks like Jeremy just can't quite get it because the game was just rude. Super C is a rude marathon game. It does not like you. It does not care about you.
Very
throws all the enemies it can at you, and it just takes you out like that sometimes. So good efforts by Jeremy. Unfortunately, the game said no, which does happen. But yeah, GG to TFX. She got through it. And GG to Jeremy. Good efforts on both your parts.
Excellent run, guys.
Thank you.
Indeed. But yeah, that'll do it for Super C. Thanks for having us on. We really appreciate it. And make sure you donate to this good cause as well.